Hello, I'm Adrian, and welcome to Fight Scene Breakdown. Rounding off our look at this spectacular sequence, today we're taking a closer look at Black Panther in the airport scene of Civil War. Although according to the comics, Black Panther does have enhanced speed and strength, he is one of the more grounded fighters, so to speak, than the other superheroes on display, and he has a camera style to suit that. His movements are frequently accompanied by a slight to significant camera push-in, and whenever he does one of his fancier moves, we cut back to wide in order to see the technique in full display. Or when he is moving his claws attempting to strike at Captain America, we stay in close. What should be touched on, however, is that although this airport scene is absolutely breathtaking in the amount of action that is shown, it is a little underwhelming in terms of its lighting. We don't really get a lot of drama out of it. Some may argue that Batman vs Superman was very dark, but at least those fight scenes had a very clear feeling and look to them and conveyed something. Or even the slightly greenish hue in everything in Matrix Reloaded, displaying how we were in the Matrix. Here, everything is lit as an overcast day. And although in terms of contrast, each of our colorful superheroes really pop out against the white background, it's somewhat bland and not too exciting, speaking purely in terms of the lighting. However, I should mention that since the scene was virtually all digital, this overcast lighting helps the visual effects team tremendously, as it is much easier to match all the VFX with whatever is live action, and make things appear 100% real. And when you're dealing with characters like Spider-Man or Giant Man who must always be completely digital, you sometimes have to take cuts somewhere, in this case the lighting, in order to get the film released on time. Black Panther is an exceptionally skilled martial artist, as he demonstrated fighting Bucky on the rooftop. He has been trained since birth to be a warrior, and his fighting style shows it. What's pretty unique about his position in this conflict is that unlike the other fighters who are trying to figure out a way to incapacitate their opponents without killing them, perhaps most clearly shown with Black Widow's "Are we still friends?" remark to Hawkeye, Black Panther is looking to kill the man that he thinks is responsible for murdering his father. He may also agree with the Sokovia Accords, but his involvement in this entire conflict is extremely personal, and as he admits at the end of the film, extremely vengeful. As I just mentioned, Black Panther is probably one of the most talented fighters in this superhero lineup, and as such, he gets the blunt of the martial arts choreography as it should be. While Spider-Man and Iron Man can move in any direction they like and are capable of superhuman feats, Black Panther typically resorts to actual martial arts techniques, such as throwing his shoulder to get out of a hold, or executing this multi-layered, most likely impossible to execute in real life combo, which starts off with a spinning back kick, twists until another back kick can be launched, and ends with his right leg extending to launch a side kick, while the left leg extends forward for extra flair, Van Damme style. As he continues to fight Cap, what is interesting about this portion of the battle is that we see a tiny bit of tiger-style kung fu, or Huquan, being demonstrated by Black Panther. Notice how he is attempting to quite literally claw his opponent instead of punching him. This sort of strike is exactly how you shape your palm in this style. There are several styles of kung fu based on animals because according to their practitioners, since animals are natural fighters, we should imitate what they do when we fight. During his rematch with Bucky, although he is initially overwhelmed with his strength, he quickly outclasses him with his skill. A high knee stops a soldier in his tracks, and he later executes what was called a basket kick, where I trained in Taekwondo. This kick is actually your typical spinning hook kick, but in order to add extra height to it and potential knockout capabilities, you toss your entire body to the ground to gain an even higher angle than you could if you would remain standing. Here Black Panther actually throws his other foot as well, resulting in a double basket kick. However, the downside of this kick is that if you don't land the hit, you are now completely exposed on the ground. Luckily, Black Panther lands it perfectly though. And remember how Black Panther was out to kill Bucky? Well, in this very moment, if Scarlet Witch hadn't interfered, Black Panther would have killed Bucky by piercing his throat with his retractable vibranium claws. Later on, he engages in a brief scuffle with Hawkeye and mostly dodges his arrows, but does have time to throw a great roundhouse kick. He ends the fight by slicing his arrow with his claws, swiftly elbowing him and executing another high-flying two-part kick comprised of a front kick and will look to be an axe kick, which morphs into a side kick. The fight ends shortly afterwards when Black Widow prevents him from catching up to Captain America and the Winter Soldier. The airport fight scene is an incredible display of skill, power, and theatricality, and Black Panther's portions are an absolute joy to watch as he is demonstrating several martial arts techniques, and they are shot in such a way where you can always understand what is going on. What did you guys think of the fight? Which fight would you like me to analyze next? Subscribe, and you can follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and brand new Facebook fan page, Godzillarex. See you next time.